Hi friends, today's video is very interesting and that actually gives a real sense of purpose to most of the employees. So please stay connected with me till the end and we would be in a position to get a better understanding of what is happening in the world today post pandemic. What are the situations that has led to happen these things? Before we proceed, my name is Rakesh Raj. I am IT career and leadership coach. I've been helping participants in order to grow and excel in their career, and I provide my services to others as and when they need from the sense of their objectivity. So you can always get in touch with my team in order to get more detail about my offerings. Now, before we get into today's topic, how many of you have really been happy at the workplace? Please answer that. How many of you have been in a position to see your family and your career balanced at the workplace? How many of you have been in a position to create an impact within your family life in spite of being at job? Now, for the people who are with me on the chat, they can always post their question. I give you close to 1 minute to answer these three questions. Thank you. Thank you for your answers. Now, great resignation is a term which came into picture post pandemic. If most of you have seen the situation at workplace immediately after pandemic, there was a lot of chaos and panic with most of the employer. And the tendency that has happened is employer started to remove people from workplace, seeing that there could be lot of issues in the global market and probably job security were at the last. Now, this has kind of created a feeling of panic, and people who are able to be in the job or people who had to quit because of this situation had to really rethink and understand what has caused some of these factors. Now, this great resignation is a term which came out post pandemic, wherein many of the people who are not even removed from the workplace took a path to quit the workplace themselves in order to bring more value to themselves, in order to contribute more for their inner self. Now, most of the employees have seen a good amount of burnout, anxiety, stress, lot of chaos, and most importantly, tremendous conflict with a lesser recognition and appraisal within the workplace. This has caused them to feel that at this point in time they are growing at a little better than the rate of inflation, or maybe almost at the rate of inflation within their workplace in terms of their salaries. Now, which eventually makes them feel that a job cannot be a greater way to achieve meaningful sense of purpose. Most employees, those who had to work almost 12 hours a day, 7 days a week, faced a lot of situation within their family wherein they were not able to give enough attention to their family members, and which in turn led to a disbalance in their family life. Many of them have suffered in terms of their health, and what has happened is they're not able to take care of their regular fitness. Most of them became addicted to some of the other diseases which are in the category of lifestyle diseases, particularly problem related to eyesight, blood pressure, diabetes, and many such issues which has become so common in most of the employees that people are really worried, are they heading in the right direction by being at employment. On the other side, they've also seen that they are not growing in terms of their happiness and satisfaction by being at the workplace, which in turn has caused a lot of issues. Now, there is a bigger sense of purpose in each individual, and for the people who are workaholic might not agree with me, but if you really want to get balanced perspective of your life, you need to have balance in all areas of life. Even if you get all the wealth of the world, but you do not have the health, you do not have the family member to be with you during your biggest day, then obviously there is a gap. Employees started rethinking their priorities, rethinking their value system, and started listening to more calling of their heart, wherein they can be in a position to successfully take care of their family members, and at the same time can see more growth in themselves, not only within their career, but at the same time in terms of their happiness, in terms of their satisfaction, in terms of their contribution. Yes, this phase of uncertainty, which got introduced due to COVID, has led to a lot of good things in the eyes and minds of employees, because they were able to rethink that whether job is the only way to lead the life further. Before we proceed further, for the people in the chat, if you have any questions so far, kindly feel free to post. I'll give you a quick 15 seconds. Yes. So, as some of you have been asking, I will also talk about how this situation can become an advantage for employer. But before we proceed to that direction, from an employee's perspective, this has given a deeper sense of rethinking, and people do not want only become dependent onto their job, because they see a high degree of uncertainty, a high degree of insecurity, which means many of the employees are started thinking in terms of what they can do at their workplace, either in the form of investment or learning more about money management or what they can do better with their finances, which in turn is helping them to secure their career as well as their life in longer run. It gives them a feeling of security and certainty, which in turn can help them in a better ways during tough time. Now, I'm not saying that everybody got connected to their heart and they started thinking directly in terms of quitting the work. But what has happened is it has driven or installed a sense of higher purpose and values, and people really started to understand their contribution and how exactly it satisfies their need and value. And there are certain people who are really happy at the workplace. They will continue to choose the same, but they also started prioritizing their family, their health, their money and investment so that they can secure themselves in spite of doing what they love to do. On the other side, some people who were doing job for the sake of salary could realize that salary cannot be something which they can anticipate or expect always, and in the due course of time, with such more pandemic happening at a later stage, they don't want to remain dependent on salary in order to take care of their living. So they started thinking more in terms of what is their hobby, what are the set of things which they like to do, what are the set of purpose that they feel they are more connected to. They feel that their contribution can be more felt maybe post disemployment, and they really started working in that direction wherein they are able to set goals so that they can find a way out from this employment which they are into just for the sake of salary. On the other side, if we look and examine this opportunity from an employer perspective, this really gives even employer a sense of confidence which they can build onto their people, and they are able to understand some metrics which they can use to use the individual in terms of their retention, and they are able to collect more and more feedback from the people who are leaving the job to understand what has caused them to leave the job. This will help them to come up with better policies so that they can retain people better. If they are able to see that people are getting a sense of higher purpose, then they can always find how to connect their purpose with the career that they have chosen with this employer, and can help them to drive it together with the job so that the person can still be part of the workplace. Employee well-being has become one of the core thing at the center of most of the employee friendly company, which has also reduced the amount of attrition happening to this companies. And at the same time, if you look at employer retention, that only happens in those companies which are either giving a really good quality work to the team, or they give enough needed support to their employees, or employees feel really connected and satisfied with the job at hand. So companies started to factor more what they can do better at the workplace in order to become more valuable. Now,